From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Redding's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Well, good morning, everyone. As expected, we're already starting to see some headaches here on basically for many of the mountain highways here of Northern California. As expected, we are seeing, as of early this morning, chain requirements on Buckhorn Summit, Oregon Mountain. There are chain requirements on I-5, or at least they're screening vehicles this early this morning. Keep in mind, as I'm recording this, conditions are going to change rapidly. I just wanted to show you that as of early this morning, we're already beginning to see chain requirements, of course, several east of I-5. But again, this is going to probably get worse through the morning hours, and then conditions will improve as we take you into the afternoon hours. Be sure to check QuickMap. And of course, I'm going to take you back to that map here, and you can see, go to quickmap.dot.ca.gov to check the latest road conditions. You can also go to weathernorcal.com for a one-stop shop. If you scroll down, you'll see an image that says road conditions on it, and you click on that. That'll take you not only to this map right here, but will also take you to some of the more popular cameras to kind of give you an idea what the roads are like across all of Northern California, so you can kind of get a quick glance, especially if you're traveling anywhere. So once again, this morning there is a headache, and if you don't have chains, there's a very good possibility that through at least the early to mid-morning hours, you may not be able to head north on I-5 unless you have chains in your possession. All right, so we take a look at the headlines, and you can see more rain and more snow going into the weekend. Now, the main event is going to be this morning and even into the afternoon hours for the mountains. But there's another system coming in on Saturday, but higher snow levels. Not terribly higher, but a little bit higher, but still probably causing more headaches as we go into your Saturday. Now, snow levels will be between 2,000 and 3,000 feet on average. As I mentioned, they may be a little bit higher on Saturday. But next week, I'm tracking the potential of a ridge of high pressure building in, and that could give us drier and not to mention slightly warmer conditions here going into Sunday, and in particular early next week. So here's your planner kind of getting you through the first half of the day, and we're going to be looking at mainly cloudy skies out there. Most of the showers in the valley will be this morning. As we go through the afternoon, the chances will be slimmer. We may see some breaks in the clouds, but there still may be a stray shower even this afternoon for parts of the valley. So just be aware of that. Heaviest rain this morning, especially for the north end of the valley, and then it starts to taper off as we go into the morning hours. Siskiyou, Modoc County, of course, you got the snow off and on throughout the day today. Heaviest will be this morning. Eastern mountains, I think you're going to be looking at heavier snowfall coming in late to mid to late morning and into the early afternoon hours. As we take a look at the north coast, of course, we could see, it's not out of the question for a few isolated thunderstorms for the coast, and not to mention even off over the ocean as well. We've been seeing that here with a lot of these past storms. We take a look at the inland areas, and of course we're looking at the showers there, especially this morning, but even into the afternoon, and Trinity County, kind of a rain-snow mix is a very good possibility here as we take you through the afternoon. We're still, again, looking at snow levels today, probably somewhere around 2,000 feet. That puts Weaverville and Hayfork at least within that potential to see maybe some light accumulations, otherwise kind of a bit of that rain-snow mix. All right, so we're looking at the main setup here. You see how with this flow coming in from the north and west. Number one, that's a colder air mass, so that's bringing in the colder air. But we're also seeing these disturbances kind of push through. You can kind of see here, this one kind of coming in this morning. There's more activity right back up in here that'll be coming in. And if you notice, what we look for are these little bit of spins, or vortices, if you will. These little spins are what can really help to kind of draw in even more moisture, or should I say squeeze out more moisture and give us a potential for more rain. So all of this is heading our way, and this is what's going to give us that potential for more activity taking you through really the day to day. All right, so here's a look at Futurecast. We're going to walk you through the timing here. So here's 11 o'clock this morning. We're still seeing some pretty heavy snow in Siskiyou and Modoc County, but look at the eastern mountains. This right here, this kind of shade of blue is an indication of moderate to heavy snow. So snow still coming down. But what you'll notice here is you kind of head on the back side here, it's not as widespread. So that first push is coming in early this morning. That push is then moving down to the south and east by 11 o'clock this morning. Now notice the valley. There still is going to be some shower activity, especially for the north end of the valley. Could see a brief heavy downpour for places around the Redding area, surrounding Redding, right? And then we go into the afternoon. Here's 4 p.m. As I mentioned, we may see a stray shower make its way into parts, especially the north end of the valley here. But you see how we're seeing another little push of some moderate snowfall off to the north and to the west, maybe some clearing off into Modoc County, but you get the idea. We're going to kind of keep things kind of unsettled after this really first push of heavy snow comes through, and then by the afternoon, just kind of that unsettled pattern kicking in. But I think most of any rain we do see in the valley will be this morning, but we still can't rule out some activity going into the afternoon. But look what happens. By 10 o'clock tonight, boy, I tell you what, it's clearing out. And here is the key factor for tonight. If we clear things out, as we can see here, it's going to be a cold night. And I think one of the coldest nights we've seen so far, in particular for the valley. We're talking single digits for many of the higher elevations off into Modoc County, eastern mountains. We're talking possibly low to mid 20s in the valley. So yes, it's going to get cold. And remember, a few days ago, I mentioned it's not a bad idea. Even early last week or late last week, I even mentioned, you know what? It might be a good idea to insulate those pipes so we don't have a burst pipe situation. There's the potential for a hard freeze in the valley as we go into late tonight and early tomorrow morning. So just be aware of that and make sure that you take all the necessary precautions. But again, you see how things are starting to clear out. Got to get a little sidetracked with the clear skies because, yeah, that's going to make a big difference for those temperatures. But we go into tomorrow morning. Again, see the clear skies? Cold, cold early morning hours here, right? But we still have a chance for some showers, very light for the coast. So I'm keeping that in there as we go through the day tomorrow. Okay, now we're going to take you into Friday. We'll just get you through the Friday morning hours. But what's happening is this. I was anticipating Friday to be a mainly dry day, but I'm beginning to see this storm system pushing a little bit sooner than anticipated. So by 6 a.m., we'll begin to see a few light flurries on Friday for Siskiyou and even out towards Modoc County. And then as we go into 11 a.m. on Friday, look at this, we're beginning to see more snow. We're seeing more of that rain off to the north and west. This will kind of push down. And so by the time we get into Friday night and into Saturday, you've got another round of rain, and not to mention that snow as well. All right, so here's a look at your forecast rain totals, the basic estimates. Again, and I always want to really just remind you that when we're looking at these, we can't look at these to be exact numbers. But what it does is it gives you a trend. It gives you an idea of where the heaviest rainfall is and where we're seeing less. Now, really, when we talk about this, we're talking about snow. So why isn't it really showing any rain? Well, that's because the snow is going to be very dry. The snow ratio is fairly high, snow to water ratio, that is. So even though you have the light, fluffy snow, it just doesn't amount to much in the way of water. Now, I want to mention the winter weather alerts. Here's the thing. We've got a big, broad area to cover. If I were to tell you all of the different times that they begin and that they end and how much snow is expected out of all these systems, I would probably spend about 2 minutes telling you about all of that. But really, it gets confusing because I think most people don't really understand what's the difference between a warning, what's the difference between a watch, what an advisory. Really, the main thing that I want you to take out when you look at maps like these, okay, is the fact that, you know, when you see the warning, yeah, most likely it's going to happen. When you start seeing advisories, hey, listen, just be aware that conditions can get pretty bad. But bottom line is this: snow surrounding the valley everywhere. Now the coast, rain, the valley, rain, Everywhere else above 2,000 feet has snow in the forecast. That's why we have the headaches this morning on those mountain highways. And that's why we'll continue to see headaches here through the mid-morning hours and even into the afternoon. So just be aware of that. Again, forecast, estimated snow totals, don't take these to be exact, but take it to be, hey, this is where we're going to see the heaviest amount of snow in the lower communities, and this is what we got to look out for. Again, no snow for the coast, no snow in the valley. But there you can see, I mean, places like Mount Shasta City, upwards of at least 4 inches of snow, maybe even more. We could see a light dusting in Weaverville, Hayfork, but as I mentioned, Weaverville, Hayfork, you're typically within, at least with these storm systems, you're seeing kind of that borderline between rain and snow, right? So we could see, a mix, but maybe even coming down in just the form of snow at times, and that could lead to the potential for some light accumulation. Now we take you off to the east here. You can see Chester 2 to 4. I think you might even see more than that, quite honestly. And out towards Alturas, yeah, I think that's a pretty good safe bet here. Probably on the lower end of that 2 to 4, as well as Ayden and Susanville, maybe on the higher end of that 1 to 2 inches. So again, we're kind of getting that idea. Now, the wind advisory have been allowed to expire. We may see some more advisories be issued here throughout the day, morning and even afternoon. But this morning, strongest winds here, blowing snow is going to be the main concern when the snow is coming down. You'll notice the wind's not as bad as you head west of that. Let's take you into the midday hours today. And there you can still see, especially down into southeastern Lassen and into Plumas County, still seeing some gusty winds, but notice not as much heading off to the west. And then it looks like fairly calm winds here for the most part going into this afternoon and evening. Now tomorrow morning, the winds are not a factor. And really even on Thursday, however, I've been seeing this interesting trend. The Warner Mountains and just south and east of Susanville, we're seeing kind of some gusty winds there. So just be aware of that. And then we go into your Friday when the next storm system's approaching. And yeah, we're beginning to see those winds pick up again. So blowing snow may be another issue with Friday night's and Saturday morning's system. All right, so it's just the winds are something we got to keep an eye on as well. So we take you into your Friday night into Saturday. There's the next storm system. Snow levels may be a bit higher, 3,000, 3,500 feet, somewhere within that range. There's the rain, heaviest along the coast here. And then we go into Sunday, it dries out. Now, the long-range forecast models at this point are drying us out and keeping us dry, most likely for Sunday into at least the middle of next week. At least that's what this particular forecast model indicates. These are going to Tuesday, Wednesday. We have a couple of systems that are skirting Northern California, getting close to Northern California. So other forecast models are bringing in the potential for some rain maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. But for now, I'm going to hold off, see what happens, and I'm going to keep it dry for now for Sunday through the middle of next week. There's that slight chance for some rain. I mean, we're not going to see a ton of rainfall out of these systems that are coming through. And notice we're still seeing that patch of warmer air coming into Northern California. And the reason being, looks like we could see a bit of a ridge of high pressure build in as we go into next week. That would mean warmer temperatures and drier conditions. However, if that ridge doesn't quite materialize as expected, then that would pretty much open the door for any storm systems to head our way. Here are those wave heights for today, still fairly high, but the good news is, especially if you need to be out on a small vessel of a small boat, those wave heights are going to start to drop down to at least maybe around 10 feet. There are your winds for today. Northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots. Waves from the northwest at 18 feet at 13 seconds. So again, it's just not a good idea to be out there. There's a hazardous seas warning through midday, but we should start to see everything kind of die down after that. Here's your neighborhood by neighborhood forecast, and you can see for Trinity County, of course, today, dry tomorrow, and then more activity coming into, especially second half of the day on Friday into Saturday, drying out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This trend of precipitation is the same across the board, really. All right, so kind of keep that in mind when you're looking at this forecast here. Here you can see temperatures low 50s for your north coast neighborhood forecast. Could even see a few isolated thunderstorms this morning and even afternoon for the coast. Otherwise, off and on chances for rain through Saturday, drying out by the time we get into Sunday. All right, there's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, 2,000, 2,500. See how we're just slowly inching those snow levels up a little bit higher as we approach the weekend. Still cool today. As you can see, your Modoc County neighborhood forecast only reaching the low 30s, give or take, depending on where you are. But also seeing those snow levels inching up as we get into Saturday. Here's your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the mid to even some upper 30s for your daytime highs there. And as we take you into the valley, brought to you by Haas Farms, temperatures are going to be in the low 50s. Corning northward, maybe some mid-50s as you head south closer to Chico, Durham, and Willows. But there you can see mainly morning showers. And I say that because I think that's when the bulk of the rain will be. However, can't rule out the potential for some afternoon showers as well. Dry Thursday, Friday, showers on Saturday. And for now, I'm keeping it dry at least through Tuesday, if not Wednesday of next week. Take you up north, 46 degrees for Whiskeytown. There you can see the city of Shasta Lake, about 48 degrees, as well as Bella Vista, 46 out in Lakehead, and Red Bluff, a high of about 51 degrees. So here's a look at your 7-day outlook. We're going to take a look at Redding's 7-day forecast, and you can see temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s through Saturday. We dry things out Sunday, and for Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, a high of 55 degrees, not a bad day. Temperatures in the mid-50s on Thursday.